Denzel, are you a yes or a no on eggnog?
I am a yes on like a vegan eggnog. That's like an almond milk type eggnog. It's all the flavors of eggnog without that egg. It's the best thing. Sometimes they sell it at Aldi. Thank you, Aldi. But as regular eggnog goes, absolutely not.
That's Denzel Beelan, newsroom coordinator for NPR News and one of our contributors here on CityCast. Today, Denzel and I are going to give you a guide to December in the Twin Cities. I also have an extended interview with John Munson from the New Standards. The New Standards are getting ready for their holiday shows, which is coming up this weekend at the State Theater. And we're also going to learn what it's been like for John to come back to the stage in the midst of recovering from a stroke. Well, everybody, welcome to December, and we're going to give you a guide for the whole month. But before that, we have an update from our famously licenseless, not licentious, Denzel Beelan about major route changes for Metro Transit. What's going on, Denzel?
All right. So if you happen to be living anywhere near Route 6 of Metro Transit, you know that it is famously one of the worst lines that there is, that sometimes you can experience delays up to 24, 27 minutes, and you're catching buses that should have been there way earlier. It's been a whole mess, and they said, Route 6, we're done with you. And they are replacing it with the E-line that they've been building, and sort of one of the main reasons why Uptown's been in such dishevel for the past 18 months. It's now open, hooray. But we have the E-line, and there will be a new route, Route 36, that will also be covering a chunk of that route as well.
And this is kind of downtown to France, 50th and France, basically. That's like the main part of Route 6 that's being replaced?
Yes, absolutely.
Gotcha. All right, let's take on this entire month, Denzel. You up for it?
Yes, I am. Let's go.
All right. December can be so much fun that sometimes it's no fun at all. But what we have for you is some sections: what to watch, where to go, what to do, and where to help. Denzel, let's start with what to watch. What do you have?
So this is something that I'll actually be doing on Christmas Eve. Jesus Christ Superstar is coming to the Ordway Center of Performing Arts in St. Paul. And if you know anything about a Tim Rice musical or an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, both of those people wrote the lyrics and music for this. Epics. And Jesus Christ Superstar tells that story of Jesus leading right up to the crucifixion in a way that is rock opera at its most rock opera, and seems like the perfect thing for a quiet Minnesotan holiday season. Really gonna wake you up.
Sarah Morris is also doing up the holiday spirit a little bit earlier in the month. Sarah Morris is a great singer-songwriter, and she does a whole bunch of stuff. She has a podcast. She brings people into her bathroom to sing songs with her. She has a beautiful voice, but like a lot of great writers, she has a real gift for interpreting other people's writing, and she does this holiday show. She's been doing it for 18 years. This is the 19th year, and the show is going down at Ice House on Friday, December 12th. Now, those are some things to take in, sit in an audience, and enjoy some performances. Let's talk about some different spots to go. Denzel, tell me about Holidays on Hennepin.
It's been no secret to anyone that uptown stretch of Hennepin has just been really itching to get business back after that 18-month construction period. So they've come together. You can visit one of at least 36 places along that stretch and pick up this passport that you can get stamped. It's encouraging you to go to the different places, step in, say hi to someone, get that stamp. And these are places like the Kowalski's, the UPS store, but it's also places like Bevel Piercing, like Sebastian Joe's. So you're getting the full extent of what is on Hennepin in that uptown area. And if you visit 20 or more of these locations, you can turn your passport into one of 3 places. I know Kowalski's is one of them. And you will be entered into a prize drawing, which will be gift cards from one of the many places on Hennepin. So you can start picking up your passports now. I know I saw mine at the Sebastian Joe's yesterday, but you can, up until New Year's, start getting those stamps done.
Denzel, I expect to see you with a nose ring, a Sharps box, and a latte the next time we get together after you've been through all these businesses. Is that going to work for you?
Honestly, I've been thinking about getting a second nose ring, so there is a high chance that could happen.
I want to talk about a spot to sort of chill out because December can be really exhausting. And I'm a big supporter of unwinding at Watershed Spa. This is right by St. Anthony. And I took an afternoon there, no kids, no phone, no headphones, and no service. For $63, you can just get 2.5 hours in this area that has a hot tub. It has multiple hot tubs at different temperatures. Denzel, it has a little area. It's not a cold plunge because I feel too big to be comfortable in a cold plunge, but it's about the size of like a small hot tub. It is freezing cold. I thought I died when I was in there, and it was spectacular. So if you want to think you died and enjoy yourself, you got to check out Watershed Spa. Have you ever been there, Denzel?
I did, actually. I went the Sunday after I won my Twin Cities leather title with two of the brothers I had competed with. And yeah, that cold plunge is no joke, but that hot tub is everything. There's wonderful seating on it as well. And to be disconnected for 2.5 hours, completely worth the money. I can't wait to go again.
Let's talk about something to do, the Red Undie Run, which is hosted by the Aliveness Project. What is this about, Denzel?
Yes, so in celebration of World AIDS Day, Aliveness Project has a huge fundraiser and community gathering where you can grab your red briefs, bras, boxers, all sorts of undergarments, if you will, and raise some money for the Aliveness Project, which is one of our largest organizations here working to provide care and support for HIV awareness and those who are living with HIV. And it is a little over a mile run/walk in downtown Minneapolis. You maybe have seen this if you happen to be near Tom's Watch Bar on the weekend and a bunch of people in their red skivvies just doing a nice jogging. You're like, what is that for? It's for an amazing cause. It's happening this December 6th. You can sponsor individuals and teams, and you might see a certain CityCast contributor there volunteering as well.
Please assure me that it'll be red leather for you that day, or is it going to be a different texture?
You know, you have to go to find out.
All right. I got a recommendation for an activity on Christmas Day. My family is not Christian. We celebrate Hanukkah, so I'm not doing anything of note on Christmas, except I'm going to go play pool. And I want to bring pool and billiards back into the conversation. It was always available when I was growing up. It was part of growing up was to go play pool with your friends. And it's not part of that culture the same way anymore. But there's this spot in Burnsville called Shooters. This is a very elite place to play billiards, and they have all different snooker tables and all that stuff. But I just want a spot to play 8-ball, to teach my daughters how to play a little bit of pool, and to get out of the house on Christmas Day. So if you're looking for something to do and you can't decide on a movie, why not try Shooters down in Burnsville? Denzel, I want to also mention a couple ways that folks can actually do some volunteering work during this season. It's so important not only to donate and to support, but often sometimes to like get your hands dirty actually helping out people in need. So I got two recommendations to throw on, and Hands On Twin Cities was recommending welcome baskets for residents of Avivo. So residents of Avivo is a spot that has housing for folks who are coming out of encampments before they find permanent housing. It's indoor and it's a low barrier, so there isn't a lot of requirements to get in there. But when you look at the list of what these new baskets require, you realize that these folks are moving from living into a tent into living into something that resembles really like an apartment. They need shower curtains. They need body wash. They need a laundry basket. They need an alarm clock. And you think about all those things that are really hard to gather for anybody. And you think about somebody who's been experiencing homelessness. It's an uphill battle. And you can make these baskets and then bring them to Avivo in South Minneapolis. The other one I wanted to mention was collecting spices for the Brian Coyle Center in Cedar Riverside or for Wait House Food Shelf. A lot of times folks bring all sorts of canned foods, and it's just, hey, here's some more green beans, here's some more corn. And folks are going, we need cilantro, we need garlic salt, we need cumin. And this is that opportunity to go find out what's needed so folks can make the foods they actually want to eat and bring it to these people so they're able to cook the food, especially around the holiday season. It's so important to make the food the way you want. So you can check out these spices. That'll be in the show notes. Collect those and then drop those off at the Brian Coyle Center Food Shelf in Cedar Riverside. Speaking of holiday traditions, Denzel is actually part of one of the most revered holiday traditions in the Twin Cities, which is the show from the Brave New Workshop. They do an annual holiday show. It's one of the biggest shows of the year. Denzel, you've been a part of this thing for 10 years now. This one is called The Chaos of the Bells, and it runs through January 17th. There's more information at the Hennepin Arts website. For folks who have never seen a Brave New Workshop holiday show, what's it all about?
Yeah, so the Brave New Workshop Holiday Show is one of those staple traditions that you really see people who like to laugh with their families really get excited to attend. So think your SNLs, think all the sketch comedy, Second City, but Minnesota-based and frankly better. So what we do is every year we develop and write a brand new sketch show centered around the holidays and all the absurdities that come along with it. We just got done with previews and our show is officially open. It is a 2-act sketch show, and on Friday and Saturday nights we have a special 3rd act that is all completely improvised. It's one of the best things that you can do this holiday season because you're going to have a lot of fun.
Denzel, thank you so much for your really awesome recommendations. Good luck with the show. I know it is a big run, and it's really awesome that you are part of it. And a New Year's resolution for you, next time you go to get Krispy Kreme donuts, invite your friend Sean. Does that sound like a good way to usher in 2026?
You know what, Sean? You're going to be right on my speed dial next time I'm craving some donuts.
All right, we want to hear from you. What would you add to our December guide? Send us a text, leave us a voicemail. The number is 612-217-0637, and those comments might show up in a future episode. We'll take a quick break, but when we get back, some holiday cheer with John Munson. It's the time for celebrating holiday traditions, and there's a lot of holiday traditions you get roped into, and then, of course, there's those traditions that you make all on your own, and those are some of my favorites, including only buying 1 pint of eggnog every year, but always buying that 1 pint of eggnog.
I mean, even if you don't consume it, it's there.
That is right. And John Munson knows the comfort of eggnog. He also knows the comfort of traditions. And one of the great traditions that so many folks in the Twin Cities have made their own is going to the New Standards Holiday Show. And that's what we're talking about this very episode. If you're not familiar with the New Standards, they have been a Twin Cities institution for decades. It's a trio, Chan Poling on piano and vocals, John Munson, who we're talking with today, on bass and vocals, and Steve Roym on vibraphone and bow tie. And our guest today, John Munson, who has been a linchpin of music in the Twin Cities since I was in diapers, but that is only because I was in diapers till I was 9 years old. John, you were a member of Trip Shakespeare, you're a member of Semisonic, and you have played with everybody in town, and you are a spectacular part of the Twin Cities music scene. And I'm so glad that you're back at it with the New Standards. I'm so glad you're back on stage performing. And the shows this year are on December 5th and 6th at the State Theater. And this year you are reissuing your 2020 album, Holiday Show, on vinyl. John Munson, thank you for joining us on CityCast Twin Cities.
What a pleasure. I'm so glad to find you guys over here, kind of plying your trade. I like it that you have found this new home to show people what's happening around the city. And we are part of that this December.
Listen, there's not a month that goes by where you are not a part of what's happening in the Twin Cities, because you have really made a big part of your offerings. Great, iconic shows that folks care about. But I think, first line in that resume for you is these holiday shows. Y'all have been doing the holiday shows for quite some time. Where's the joy for you, Chan and Steve, about tackling this holiday show each year?
Early on, we felt that doing the holiday shows was a gift that we could give to ourselves. And by inviting our friends to do something a little bit different, a little bit offbeat, and then also giving ourselves the gift of learning their songs and making different arrangements, it was a way that we could, like I said, gift ourselves for Christmas, our friends, doing music with them. Over 20 years of doing the show, it's really grown. And I think it's become a meaningful part of people's holiday tradition now, that we feel like if we can't do it, it will be the end of us.
That is one thing I really enjoy about the show is the repertoire. Perhaps the best performance I've seen at any of these holiday shows, and I've been to a number of them, was seeing Haley do a Tom Petty song, Wildflowers, that has no specific connection to the holidays, but it has this connection to the holidays now because your circle of singers, of dancers, of performers make this sort of, month of a family that is such a joy to see. And you have the secret weapon, which is not your bass or the vibraphone or Chan on piano. It is the Rolodex. I'm thinking about people like Jeremy Messersmith, Abby Wolf, who both show up on the album, Nellie Mackay, and all these great vocalists, great contributors, horn section, drummer. At what point do you, Chan, and Steve have to go, how do we keep this new standards-y, even though there's so many cooks in the kitchen for this particular holiday show?
That's a poser. We're always thinking, we're always threatening each other with, maybe this is a year that will really will crystallize the vision of, just the three of us out there. And then inevitably it just kind of balloons and turns into like horns and drums and strings and then an amazing collection of voices. The Twin Cities is full of amazing singers. And the fact that we get to work with a lot of these people is, it's the joy of our lives. And if they don't want to necessarily do a holiday song, that's okay. We'll do whatever you feel like you want to do, or, sometimes we'll pitch a couple of ideas at people too, and they can, respond to them however they want, or if they have something new coming out. I mean, this year, I'm not going to give away too much, but we're doing some new songs by some of the artists that we're working with that don't have one single thing to do with the holidays, but they're like new material that they're psyched about doing. And we're just like, okay, let's do it.
The shows are on December 5th and 6th at the State Theater. And it's a triumph every year when, frankly, even 5 people get together to play music. And with this cast, I'm sure we're topping over 20 people, especially when you count the crew that's making it all happen.
And the dancers.
Yes. Yes. And Joe Spencer in an elf outfit, which I'm still trying to erase from my memory, but it's stuck in there, John. There's a special triumph for this year. In February of this year, you suffered a stroke, and that threw your immediate performance schedule into question, but also for myself and so many other people from the Twin Cities and beyond who are concerned about going, will John be able to perform? You are not only very important to us, you're important to your family. You get out here, you ply your trade. This is your job. None of us knew, and I don't think you knew at that moment in February when you had the stroke, he's for sure going to be back in playing form in 10 months when it's time for the holiday shows. Is this year's performances taking on a special significance because you are thankfully in good shape and able to step up there as a vocalist and bass player?
I try not to think about it too much.
Yeah.
Because with a stroke, there's no promises, about how things will evolve. I think there's a lot for me and, my care team, there's a lot of optimism. But when I went in on the 23rd, which was right after I played a show downtown Minneapolis, actually, I came home and I collapsed in the kitchen, and I felt like I really might not ever play again because I couldn't walk. I kind of couldn't talk. And in terms of my hands, they weren't really doing the things that they normally wanted to do. They were, I couldn't write. I couldn't write with a pencil, which was, it's a unique kind of helplessness. And I know I'm lucky that my stroke was really not as severe as they can be, but for me, it was severe enough. I'd had a stroke before and I hadn't had any really deleterious effects, but this was a smackdown, and I didn't know what was going to be possible. And I've eased back into performing with my pals, Steve and Chan, and kind of looked around me and gotten a lot of encouragement from all my friends. By golly, I think I'm going to be able to do it this year, come December 5th and 6th. I'm feeling optimistic about it. I think the thing that For me, the thing that really changed with having this stroke is that it has led me towards preparation, which was not always my strong suit. I think a lot of music and a lot of musicians kind of make it up as they go along in a way. And I have loved doing that. But I've also seen other musicians who really spend a lot of time preparing themselves for performance. And that is much more my world now. I need to be ready for what, is going to happen on stage so that I feel confident. And that's really different, but it turns out it's not so bad. And contrasted with the possibility of not being able to perform at all, it's like huge. It's huge.
I have a lot of questions, John, that aren't related to your health, but while we're talking about that thing, I just want to say that when I heard about you having a stroke, and I think the first way I found out was, like a lot of people, just Facebook kind of became John Munson page for a couple days. And not only did I think about your contributions to the Twin Cities music scene, but selfishly, I thought about my own. I'm a bass player as well. There's parts of my career that I think have something in common with your career. And what I thought about was we give our lives to playing this music and collaborating with people and spending maybe as much time on our inbox trying to schedule people as we do often actually getting to play our instruments. And you've performed an amazing service to the Twin Cities music scene by not only being a great player, but by being a catalyst to bring people together from different scenes and to make that happen. And at that moment, I was hoping the best for your future, but I was also thinking a life well lived, not a life completed, but so far a life well lived. And when I heard about your health concerns, I thought, I'm really glad that John has given what he has given to this scene already. And I know it doesn't stop now. I know there's more to give. And I saw the outpouring of support for you. But I love you. And I'm so thankful that you're with us.
That means a lot. I love that word catalyst. I hadn't actually, I'm always like, I think of myself as, I love supporting music in different ways. And I love working with musicians. I mean, I think the big thrill, if you're in a position like you or I are in, is you get to choose who you surround yourself with and have some of the joy and creativity of the people that you're working with rub off on you. And you make something with them, and you are an ingredient in that work. And that's important work that you're doing, or anybody that's working in that kind of rhythm section role where you're not seizing the spotlight necessarily. You're trying to brighten the spotlight, or you're trying to make sure that you're directing people's attention towards something that is happening in that moment that you think is important. I feel incredibly privileged, and I do feel thankfulness and, definitely a life well lived. I'll take a little more. If there's some left, I want it, but
I'll take seconds on life. You got 30s? What do you got?
Whatever you got. I'm down for it, but I don't regret the stuff that I have done by and large. I feel like success kind of took its time with me and some of my cohort. We kind of like hung around and we kept on loving what we were doing. And the downside was that we were always impatient and kind of thinking that somehow our turn was like waiting. But the upside is that none of us died to drug addiction or something, or alcoholism or something like that, which I think if we'd been really successful earlier was a real danger. Yeah. I think that can happen. So I'm grateful for that too. But, I'm looking forward to that eggnog, alcohol or otherwise.
Now, you mentioned the supportive role you've played as a rhythm section, bass player. In this particular holiday show and a little bit in the New Standards non-holiday offerings, you have figured out that from time to time, you're right to be the prime ingredient. I've never really heard you carry the lead outside of the New Standards, but you really do a great job handling lead vocals, particularly on holiday tunes. For whatever reason, I think it's sort of nice to have a not polished singer handle some of these tunes. What tunes do you love singing when you're doing these holiday shows?
I certainly love singing the song Snow Days, which is not, strictly speaking, a holiday song, but it has to do with the joy that a child feels when a day off from school has been announced. Whatever that leads to, for me, it was like I had a sledding hill right across the street from my house. And so if there was too much snow and school was closed, I knew that the sledding hill would be open, and I would go there with my pals and we'd sled all day long. So that song definitely has some meaning for me.
It's coming down. Snow pains on the motor veins, keeps your business on the ground. It's coming down. Slow day for the teacher, and her wheels are spinning now. Oh,
John, I got to get the details. Where's the sledding hill?
What's at St. Anthony Park?
Is it by the school? Is it that one?
No, it's not that. It's not Langford Park. It's College Park. And so get over there. It's right between Doswell and Carter, and you'll find it easily from there. It's like Raymond, Doswell, and Carter. But there's a bowl there, and it's perfect for sledding. And there's like hills that are crazy steep, and there's hills that are very mild. And so you like whatever your kids' like interests are, you're accommodating them.
I'm chatting with John Munson, bass player, vocalist, and spectacular part of the New Standards. The holiday shows are coming up on December 5th and 6th at the State Theater. John, I don't think that in, pick a year, 1991, anyone would have slated you or Chan Poling as being dudes in the suits doing a holiday show. You and Chan come from a particularly irreverent part of the Twin Cities music scene, a time where punk rock and a lot of other music was sort of taking shortcuts outside of the usual paths to success and paths to building an audience and making spectacular music. And now you're in a different era of your career. Got the suits, got the holiday vibes. You're still doing it your own way. But like, how do you explain the transition from being wherever you and Chan were in 1991 to where you are now in 2025?
Man, I have thought about that a lot lately. So as I mentioned with the stroke, I lost the ability to write. And it was really, I didn't really think about writing longhand that much, but kind of being denied that ability vexed me. It made me, it was upsetting to me because it was expressive of, I felt like my personality came out through my writing. And my daughter, Gigi, said, if you don't practice writing, you're never going to be able to write. And I was like, she's right. I have to like sit down and like make letters and just do this. And I need to give myself an object. So first I did like long rows of the alphabet like you do when you're in elementary school, where it's just writing A. I mean, it's so stupid, but it was very therapeutic. And as I was doing it, I was like, okay, the object of this is going to be to write a memoir from the inside of where I was in 1981 1991, 2001, and kind of like give some kind of shape to that life through my eyes, and through my writing. Thinking about where Chan was to me in 1991, he was like a god to me. Right. I mean, the suburbs were everything to me growing up as a musician. Around that time, I was with Matt and Dan, and we were getting signed to A&M and putting out records with A&M.
And this is with Trip Shakespeare.
Yeah, with Trip Shakespeare. And I don't know if we were anyone's gods, but we were definitely, trying to make the music of our heart. And it was a little bit silly, but it was also a little bit touching. And to me, that's the thing that I liked about the suburbs. And it's also the thing that I liked about Trip Shakespeare and Semisonic. It's like the actual span of what music should be to me, which is like a joyous expression of your heart, but also your heart crying for whatever it's crying about at that moment. I was probably crying about the girlfriends I didn't have or whatever, but I have whatever I'm crying about, and like now music is very satisfying.
I mean, John, if you were looking for a through line, there's a boatload of worse ones than Playing from the Heart, which it sounds like you've been charting for decades now, and we're so lucky that you have done so. And we're so lucky that the new standards keep on playing from the heart and doing a holiday show your way, not just doing a holiday show by numbers. It's not really Christmas till the holiday show with the new standards happens, and that's happening on December 5th and 6th at the State Theater, and then there's performances in Rochester and Red Wing later in the month. John Munson, it has been an honor to talk to you. It is an honor to see you when I see you at the Y, hanging out, staying healthy, and being on stage. We were all rooting for you, and I'm so lucky that you're able to get back on the stage and do these performances. Congratulations to you and your care team and your family, and thank you for making time to talk with us today.
Right on, Sean.